Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
two certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only two best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go.
Okay, the last Dear Krachel of 2019.
Oh.
The last Dear Krachel of the year, the last Dear Krachel of the decade.
There's been dramatic,
not
but
that
true.
many, but almost 2 years worth now.
Almost.
Before we dive in, we've got 3 questions. 2 are kind of long. I just want to remind you, we'll talk more about this at the end, but I want to remind you that starting on Tuesday, only 4 days from now, we'll be starting our week-long holiday special on the Passion Profile short course. So if you're new to Clarity on Fire and you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing with my life, I have no idea what I'm going to do with the next year or decade of my experience.
Don't freak out too much.
Well, I don't know. I'm just reflecting what your own concerns might be.
Mm-hmm.
It is a new decade. That's scary.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it too hard either. But if you're thinking about it and you don't know what to do and you have no idea where to start with getting unstuck and not only getting clear on your career direction, but like, why do I keep doing the same thing over and over and it's not working?
Why do I keep jumping from job to job? Maybe.
Yeah. Then this might be a good thing for you to start with. So we'll talk more about that at the end. I'm not going to do all of it right now. Just reminding you that it's going to be going on from the 10th through the 17th. And that doesn't mean you have to do anything right away.
No, we're just putting you on alert so that
No, I mean, what I'm saying is the course is always available. So if you can't take it right away or dive in right away because
right.
it's the holiday season, that's fine. It just means you have it and it's ready for you when you're ready. So anyway, all right, we'll get back to that at the end. Let's dive into our first question.
Okay. Dear Krachel, it was my birthday last week, as well as my 3-year anniversary at my job. Every year, my boss gets the ladies flowers and the guys funny socks, a cake, and a card that everyone signs. I've smiled as they cut their cakes and written nice things to everyone in their cards, but I've never received any of this. Every year, she forgets my birthday. Last year, she overheard someone ask how my birthday was a week later, so she pulled some old company-branded chocolates out of the closet and put them on my desk without saying anything. I've tried to ignore it and say it doesn't matter, but it does bother me. It's a double whammy, too, when she always does something special for people's work anniversaries but doesn't even acknowledge mine. I feel like I'm being petty by complaining about it because I don't need someone to make a fuss over me, but it still hurts my feelings. Should I say something to her or just try to forget about it? I don't want to seem like a child throwing a fit over a piece of cake. Thanks, Jessica.
So this is so weird.
This is a weird
Jessica,
thing that your boss is doing.
I don't think that you're making it up. I'm not saying I might have believed that you were interpreting all of this had it not been for some of the more sort of overt examples you provided.
Like pulling chocolates out of a
weird
closet.
Old chocolates out of the closet. Yeah. And didn't even say anything. Just threw them at you or something. Threw them on your desk. That is weird. That's weird. So first of all, I just want to say that it's never about the cake.
No.
This isn't about the cake.
No.
It's about the fact that other people are getting shown respect and appreciation, and you're getting treated like Cinderella to the stepsisters, right? It doesn't make sense.
Please sign the cards. Please help with the birthday decorations or whatever.
Cinderella, wash the dishes, Cinderella. But Cinderella didn't get to go to no ball. She had to sneak out.
Exactly.
That's
we don't
kinda how I
want you
feel.
treated like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're making it up. It sounds like, and you said, or just try to forget about it. I don't think you need to just forget about it because every time someone's birthday comes up or their work anniversary comes up, you're going to be reminded. You're not going to be able to help it. So I don't think that that's even really an option to just forget about it because it's disrespectful.
If you try to forget about it and it happens, which it will continue to happen, you're going to get more resentful and your boss is going to pick up on that. And however she interprets that resentment will probably not be good for you. So it will just perpetuate the cycle that you're already in. So I don't know how this dynamic got started. I don't know if your boss, interpreted something you did at one point and is seeing it in a negative light. Maybe your boss is super passive aggressive. Maybe you remind your boss of someone she doesn't like and it has nothing to do with you whatsoever. But no matter
maybe she thinks you already know how much she appreciates you and she doesn't think she needs to be overt about it. I don't know. There could be so many interpretations.
She could be sucking up to the other people and feel like you're not the kind of person she needs to suck up to. There's a million different, all potentially valid interpretations. But at the end of the day, there's really only one thing for you to do, which is, you have to say something, which, is going to be awkward.
And you also don't have to come across as you fear you would, as you said in your message.
A toddler throwing a tantrum about cake.
About cake. You don't have to sound like you're throwing a tantrum about cake.
No.
This can sound very much like, hey, I've picked up on a pattern. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention and see, here's maybe how I've been interpreting things. But I understand there might be something else going on. And I wanted to just clear the air.
Okay, that's one way to say it. I would say. So the story I'm telling myself is that for whatever odd reason, based on how you celebrate these people's birthdays and milestones and how I get dusty chocolates from the closet, is the story I'm telling myself is that either you don't like me or you don't appreciate me or respect me to the same degree as those people. Now, if that's an interpretation, I would love to hear the alternate story for what's actually going on. Because I'm going to tell you right now, telling myself that story is not fun and it is kind of hurtful and painful. So I would love to hear what your interpretation is. And if it so happens that I'm actually just right and that you don't like me that much and that you don't appreciate me.
What's a way that we can try to find to work together better?
How did that happen?
Right.
How did we get to the point where that's what you think of me?
And how do we try to at least work cordially together in a way that we don't feel like we're at odds?
I don't think that it is a matter of, I don't think it's going to become a matter of like, how do we just tolerate each other? But
no, I
want to get to the bottom of like, you clearing the air and saying, this is how I'm interpreting it. What's your perspective? And then from there, okay, if you have a weird interpretation of me, where'd that come from? And how can we clear the air around that? And if it's not that, then why is it that you feel like you don't have to appreciate or celebrate me like the other people?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. You just need to ask. And it doesn't have to be complaining or whining.
Or even super deeply emotional.
Or aggressive or anything like that. It can just be clarifying.
Matter of fact.
That's it. You're just asking, hey, what's up with this?
Right.
That's it.
I'm not sure how, I'm in the interest of us working well together and getting along well, I have to say something. This isn't me complaining. This is me wanting to have a decent working relationship with someone. And I don't feel like I can when the story I'm telling myself is that I'm underappreciated and not respected or not even liked.
Right. This makes me wonder what else is going on underneath of this.
Right. And what am I doing here if this is how I feel?
Yeah.
And if that's how you feel about me, again, what am I doing here? So, yeah, it's going to be awkward and uncomfortable. And most of you listening to this are probably cringing at the idea of saying something like that to your boss.
And, put it in your own words. I mean, like we've given you some...
Be so blunt.
Yeah, we've given you some ways of trying to approach that conversation in a level-headed way, but do it in a way that feels genuine to you. But just know there's no way of doing that that's going to feel super comfortable.
No.
And
I think you're open to it, else you wouldn't have asked if that was something you should do.
You're already not very comfortable in this situation.
Yeah. You're not going to lose anything, really. I think that you're just going to clear the air.
Right.
And maybe
we need to clear the air here.
Maybe, I don't know, write some interpretations or some things that have gone off track. Maybe deeper than we even realize. And you can't improve relationships unless you're willing to go to an uncomfortable level with people.
Yep.
So, all right, well, Good luck, Jessica. And please let us know how that goes.
I know.
I really want to know what the hell is her boss thinking. So please update us.
Also, you deserve birthday cake.
Everyone deserves a celebration. If some people get some, then everyone should get one.
Definitely.
If not, we can just ignore it. Ignoring birthdays and milestones would be fine with me too, as long as it's equal.
Yeah, as long as it's all equal treatment across everyone at the company. No one earned their birthday more than anyone else.
No. Okay. Keep us posted, Jessica, please. All right. Next question. Dear Krachel, I listened to your recent episode about balance and I really related to it. I'm a closeted perfectionist and analyze everything before making a decision. Right now, I'm struggling with balancing home, life, and work, and it's starting to affect my overall health, and with that is affecting my marriage. My husband works constantly and is out of town a lot, so I'm the one responsible for house duties and my son's everyday needs. He's in daycare while I work, which is a huge help, but I'm still struggling to manage everything. It's come to my mind more than once to take a break from work so I can catch up with everything that needs to be done at home while also resting, focusing on my health, and focusing on what I enjoy doing. I want to keep my son in daycare for all the benefits it does for his education and social development while I'm in this hiatus stage, but my husband is looking at it like I'm wanting to quit everything and just sleep. So yes, I want to catch up on sleep. I want this so that I can think about my needs and start bettering my everyday life. What's the first step to take to start doing this? How can I do this if taking a break isn't an option? Victoria.
Oh, Victoria, you have so much on your plate right now, and I just really want to validate how tired you must be feeling.
Seriously. And a lot of people, especially a lot of women and moms, are like, oh man, I wish I could take a break too. How many times have I wanted to take a break? I don't have kids. I just have a dog.
And think about this. It sounds like your husband is gone with work a lot, traveling with work a lot, which means there's a lot of times where you probably feel like a single working mom. And that is exhausting.
Yes.
And you have every right to be tired and to want to slow down.
Yes.
I know that it sounds like you're someone who probably likes working. You're like, hey, I'm a perfectionist. I like to get good work done, high achieving. And you're probably holding yourself to some old standards that are different now. This is what my balance article was about, which is why I'm thinking it probably related to you, is that you're holding yourself to some standards of how your life used to look. And now you've got more stuff going on. Now it's not just you working. Now you're married. Now you have a son. You have a lot more things on your plate right now. And that is going to take some serious recalibration and some serious rebalancing. And it might mean taking a step back from some parts of life for a little while. I don't think you're wrong that some kind of a break is probably what you need here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but before we talk to you about how to communicate this need to your husband, and believe me, I have some thoughts about that, I also want to say, not to be a Debbie Downer or to rain on anyone's desire to take a break, because you could not be talking with a more sympathetic character when it comes to wanting to take a break and just like lounge and chill and do nothing and just be with a capital B-E. But, and taking a break does not necessarily mean that you're going to be able to catch up, quote unquote. I understand the need to just like want to take a pause on life and just be like, okay, I can finally get all the laundry done and I can finally like do all the stupid like bills and the customer service calls and all the stuff that like little life shit that just piles up. I 100% understand that. And I'm not saying you couldn't make some progress on those things. I'm just saying that I believe that the need to take a break is also often coming from a place of, I have this pattern of overdoing it everywhere and of feeling like everyone expects everything of me. And again, if you're a perfectionist and somewhat of a people pleaser, I would imagine, then this pattern will still be waiting for you when your life unpauses.
Right.
Which means you're still going to feel like there's too much on your plate. You might still feel like there's too many things that you've committed to or too many things you should be doing, quote unquote. So can taking a break help you? If you use a break correctly, could a break help you get to the root of that? Yes. You could actually have time to focus on going to therapy or getting some coaching or something so that you can get to the root of that pattern of like the perfectionism, the people pleasing, the stuff that probably keeps you feeling like I have to be the perfect mom and the perfect employee and it's draining all of your energy. But will a break in and of itself help if you don't get to the root of what's also going on? No.
Because eventually you have to unbreak. You have to go back to quote unquote normal life and all those things are going to come right on back. Yeah, we're talking about some more sustainable changes here, some more sustainable internal changes in terms of how you relate to yourself, how you show up in the world, in your family, in your work. And one of those things that I want to just go ahead and throw out there right now, because I very much get the sense that you are trying to do a lot alone. And the first thing that I want you to be considering is, where can you get some help? Where can you get some support? Who can you ask to chip in? And if you're someone who is high achieving, as we've described, that might not come naturally to you. You might think, well, I've got to do it all. But you're never going to get a break if everything is on your shoulders.
No.
You're going to have to share the burden. And that's the only way you can sustainably have a little bit of breathing room. Mm-hmm. So that's the first question I want you to ask yourself. Who even comes to mind that you could ask for some help with your son, with your health, with just processing your emotions, with anything that's going to lighten your load a little bit. And this does lead into the conversation that you're going to need to have with your husband, because you're going to need to ask for his support or someone, for him to be on your team, whether or not that's actually physically doing things around the house. He may not be around enough to do that. He needs to support you in what you need right now.
Yeah. So I'm not saying don't take a break. I'm saying if you take a break, use it wisely. Use it to not only rest and recuperate, but to get clear on what, like you said, what do I want? And not just what you want, but who am I? And what patterns maybe have I been playing out that I've been so busy and so on autopilot that I can't even stop and pause and reflect on? If you're going to have reflection time, then use it. But just use it to help you get to the bottom of things so that when you unpause life, your life can be something different than when it was before you took a break.
Yes.
So how to communicate this to someone who's resistant. This is a more common theme than you might think you're alone in this, and you're actually not. Because I have a client right now who I'm talking to about this. We spent an hour recently talking about how she wants to take a pause, and her partner is resistant to the idea of her taking a pause because he doesn't understand. It's not that he's not empathetic to her burnout. He just doesn't get it. He's not experiencing it. And also it's not quote unquote what you do. It doesn't look good on a resume, or there might be some money concerns, maybe not with him, but with you and your husband, Victoria, there certainly could be, like, too afraid to support you because what does that mean about our money situation? So I'm going to start with giving you kind of my snarky answer. And I'm not saying you have to say this to him, but I also think it's going to help you contextualize like the type of conversation you need to be having, which is, I told my client to say, hey, do you like being married to a woman? Oh, you do? Like, why? Oh, because we're different? Like, maybe you wouldn't want to be married to a dude who had the same bits as you? Like, maybe you're not into that? Oh, so like there's like an attraction in the differences between us? Great. So as long as we're on the same page about the fact that there are some definite differences between men and women and that you like those, which is why you married a woman, then I'm going to need you to understand that those differences also translate to the brain and the emotional state. And it ain't cool. I told my client this, and she was like, oh my God, this is perfect because my partner is actually very much not wanting to be part of the quote unquote patriarchy. He doesn't want to be part of upholding those norms. I'm like, you know what upholds those norms is when you expect the body of the person you're with to be a woman, but you expect their brain to be a man.
Right.
Or their emotional state to be a man. And that is what a lot of, like, sorry, men, if you're uncomfortable hearing this, don't shut down if you're hearing me say this. This is where a lot of men, and you want to know what, women do this to men too. We expect their brains to be men, but their body, they're women's, but their bodies to be men. And I'm not, like, let's not get into like the whole, I'm not even talking about men and women. I'm really talking about feminine and masculine energy, which has a lot less to do with gender. It's just easier to say men and women, but just know that it's really more about your innate wiring and your brain structure, which is different if you're a feminine creature and different if you're a masculine creature. And so a lot of masculine creatures think that feminine creatures should be wired like them, and they don't even realize that part of the reason women are so fucking burnt out is because we spend so much time and energy and effort going against the current of how we're wired. The working world, I'm going to give you an episode after this where we rant on this for a while, the working world is not wired to accommodate feminine energy very well. Feminine energy needs rest. We need flow. We need flexibility. We need time to just be and recuperate. Masculine energy is all about go, 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 push, 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 force, 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 take action, take action. And it takes a strain on a feminine creature in a way that it does not have a strain on a masculine person to go, to be a part of a society and a culture that supports inherently how they're wired. So no wonder you're tired. No wonder you're burnt out. This is what being part of the, of like the goddamn 40-hour working week or more for women is like. So like, to me, that's the conversation that needs to be said is we're not the same person. Our experiences are different. And the same thing that doesn't have a negative impact on you because you're wired for it is having a really difficult impact on me because I'm not wired for it and I need a freaking break. And that doesn't make me weak. That makes me a woman. And I thought you kind of liked women because you married one.
So that was the snarky answer.
That was the rant answer.
No, seriously, Victoria and really anyone else who is at all reacting strongly one way or the other to this conversation, please go listen to our previous episode called How to Work Like a Woman.
It was from April 2018. It was one of the very, very first episodes we ever put out.
It's one of my favorite topics. It's something that I think is so critically important that people who have more of this feminine energy, and we get much more in depth into what does that mean,
and the differences
and
between the two.
We have a whole deep conversation about this, so I'm not going to go into all of the detail now because I want you to go hear that. But people who have a lot of feminine energy, they need to operate in the world quite differently than people with a lot of masculine energy. And our world was mostly built by people with a lot of masculine energy. And so people with a lot of feminine energy often feel strained and exhausted and pushed and out of alignment.
Yeah, like our batteries are being sapped at higher rates because we're not able to go with how we're wired. And it takes more energy to go against the current than it does to go with it, which is why you don't see a lot of men burnt out. Compared to the amount of women who are burnt out.
Comparatively. Yes. So once you feel a little bit more comfortable with this conversation, this topic, then that is a great thing to bring up with him. Go listen to this episode about working like a woman. And then you can explain, hey, I need some different things from you. And that's actually one of the beautiful parts about our relationship is that we have these complementary aspects of ourselves, but I'm not the same as you. And I need you to believe me when I say that I need something else. And I need you to respect that I have different needs. I operate differently.
I have different needs, and that's not wrong. That's not weak. I should not have the same needs as you because we're complementary. And by the way, a lot of the things that you probably love about me are a direct result of the fact that I am a feminine creature. Maybe you like the fact that I have more access to my emotions. Maybe you like the fact that I'm nurturing or that I'm compassionate or that I'm a good listener. A lot of that has a lot to do with your feminine energy.
Yes.
So if you like that about me, then you also have to respect that the downside to being a feminine creature is that we need more rest and relaxation. And I don't think it's a downside. It's just a downside to someone who thinks you should be working all the time and who doesn't think that rest is something sacred. Every feminine creature in the world knows that rest is the pinnacle. Like, it is so important, right? We just know inherently that taking a freaking break and resting and relaxing and being at ease is how we recharge. It's how we access our intuition. It's how we become more creative. It's how we're kinder and more compassionate. Because ain't a woman in the world alive who is really at her best when she's haggard and tired and burnt out and has no energy and nothing to give to anyone else.
No, you can't be overflowing with your natural feminine gifts when you feel that depleted.
Nope.
You can't.
Nope. So how to communicate this to him beyond what we just said? I think you have to connect it to his desire to support and provide for you. Because I think right now, it's like you guys are at odds. You're pitted against each other. When really, it should be about you guys supporting each other. And so I think what you have to do in order to inspire his support is to tell him what being able to do this would provide to you. And make it clear that him supporting you would be equivalent to him providing these things for you.
Not just you, but your whole family.
Your whole family.
Because when that provides something that is very needed for you, now you can provide that back to your son,
right?
Back to him, back to the whole family unit. And this is something that he can essentially gift the family by giving you what you need. But you're going to have to be very clear about, here's what I need, and here specifically is what it would provide for me.
Yes.
And here's why I would appreciate this break, and here's how I would use this break to then be able to fill up my tank and bring that back to the family.
Which isn't necessarily the same as you justifying and rationalizing. It's really more, because I don't want you to do that.
No. We don't want you to be like, no, please, but this would do so.
No.
Like, this is not pleading.
No.
This is just about explaining, because again, we're different creatures. He doesn't understand what this would provide for you in the way that you intuitively, instinctively just know that this is necessary. That's not as necessary for him. So you're going to have to explain, hey, I'm wired a little differently, which means I need this, which means when I get this, here's what that would look like for me and for the family. He might be like, oh, I didn't realize that, because that's not how I function.
This would allow me to be the best version of myself. This would allow me to take some time to figure out what I really want. This would allow me the space to break some of these old patterns that have not been serving me. This would allow me to say no to things I should have been saying no to. This will make me a better mom. This will make me a better wife. This will make me more present with you. This will probably
make me more joyful and less stressed.
Let's be NC-17. This will get you laid more. 100%. This will be good for his sex life.
Yes.
That you made me lead with that one. Or put that one in the top 3. And I think that you might get a better response.
Yeah, that one might help.
No, but seriously, women who are tired and burnout aren't yeah, let's do it.
No,
they're not.
They're I need more sleep.
If you have excess energy because you feel really well rested and nourished on a soul and a body level, then yeah, you have extra to give. And that definitely is going to pay him dividends in sex and other things that might please him.
And also, isn't there that phrase, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy?
Right.
If you are a happier person, your whole family is going to be happier too, because they are going to be picking that up from you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much good that you could bring to yourself, to him, to your son, to your whole family, if you were able to do this in a way that is wired with you as a woman.
Right. I don't think he understands that it's not just about sleeping and catching up on sleep. It's resting will turn me back into the best version of myself.
Yes.
And you've probably been missing that, husband, even if you don't realize it. You've probably been suffering because I'm not the best version of myself.
Yes.
So the last thing I would say is that ask him, after you explain what it would provide to you, ask, what does he need to help support you in that? Does he need to see an amended budget? If we're going to cut our expenses, what does he need in order to support you and sign off on this, so to speak?
Yeah. Does he need for you to share clearly what your intentions are going to be during that break?
Or how long it's going to last, right? What does he need in order to relax and to support you and not just tolerate it, but enthusiastically consent to this plan? Yeah.
Because now you bring him into the plan with you.
Right. You're
now,
again,
it's not just
teaming
here's
up.
A thing that I'm doing, hope it's okay. Now it's, here's what I need. What do you need so that we can give this to our family?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very, very different conversation.
Yeah. Right. Okay, Victoria, please let us know how this conversation goes. But first, go listen to How to Work Like a Woman from April 2018. So you got to scroll back quite a while.
Throw a nap in there, too.
If you can. Please. And ask for some help. Even if it's not from your husband.
Ask for help.
Ask for some help.
Yes.
Okay? All right. Last one.
Last question. Dear Krachel, what is your opinion on changing careers and wondering afterwards if you made the right choice? I recently did this and I'm feeling like it might not be the right thing for me. And now I don't know what to do. From Joanne.
Well, first things first, Joanne. Don't quit this job and don't get another one. Because if you do, we're probably going to see a repeat of this pattern. Again.
Yeah, this is a really normal pattern. And I want to just say that, first of all, that is why a lot of people come to coaching, is because they say, I wasn't happy in my last job. I got excited about this new job. I jumped into that one, thought it would be one way, and now I'm disappointed. It's not what I thought. And I feel like I'm right back where I started.
Right back at square one.
Yep. And I feel like job hopping again, but I don't want to do it that way again. That's a really, really normal question that we hear a lot. So you're not alone.
Well, I wanted to bring it
asking
up
that
to remind people that this is one of the most common experiences that you can have.
And this will also clearly explain why Rachel and I care so much about the deeper expression of coaching, not just getting you the next job. We could help you get the next job.
I mean, I wouldn't like it, but I could do it.
Yeah, that's not my favorite part. That's not what I do, but I could do that. And you would be coming back with that same question in 3 months.
Yep. So the first thing to do when you are in a job that you just got a new job and you thought it was going to be great and it wasn't great, what do you do now? First things first, don't jump ship. Don't jump ship because it's not going to work, okay? This is your call. And sometimes, we need a certain number of these circumstances to happen in order to prove a point to us. So I feel like what's happening to Joanne is something that's happened to a lot of people. They're getting to the point where they realize, oh, it's me. I thought the next job or often the next relationship, right? The next thing would be better. And often it is a little bit better than the last time because it's not like you learn nothing. But what you're learning is that making a decision based in reaction to what you didn't like about the last thing is not the same thing as being proactive. It's not the same thing as getting clear on a deeper level about, okay, what do I really want? How am I really aligned? And are the things I keep pursuing, the career decisions I keep making, are they really in alignment with my deeper values? Probably not. If I keep making decisions that don't quite fulfill me or don't quite live up to the expectation that I had for myself and them.
Yes. Yeah. So part one is, how do I get to know what I really want on the deepest level first? That's phase one. Like, you can't do anything until you're super clear on who am I, what do I want, and how would I express that in a working situation? And then you've got to get really good at discernment. So once you know what I want, now you have to be able to discern what is going to be a match to me and what is never going to be a match for me. And these are deeper processes that you're not going to be able to do just jumping from job to job.
No, I mean, Joanna's primed for coaching.
Right. This is
not that you need to, I mean, like, I'm not saying, oh, Joanne, it's time to come work with us. Like, do what you want. But I am saying this is the point at which you can do very little more externally, and it's time to do some internal work. Like, what do I do? Well, you have to get clear on, like, why do I keep making these decisions? What's off here? What do I believe is not possible for me? Do I feel like I'm too old for something or too young for something? Not good enough, not good enough for the things that I want? Do I have baggage? Here's a perfect example. This is kind of tangential, but it's a great story. I was coaching one of my just old, wonderful clients on like Friday or late last week. And we were putting together that she has this tendency to want to jump ship when things get hard, when her business gets hard, when her relationship gets hard. All of a sudden, she's like crushing on a dude in her life. That's not her boyfriend. And it's innocent. She's not going to do anything about it. And then I don't know if I like this business. Maybe I should go do another thing. And we realized finally, after kind of digging to get to this bedrock, oh, this is an exact replica of her relationship with her parents. So her parents did not know how to shepherd her through difficult feelings. They didn't know how to handle difficulty. So it would often be distract her with an ice cream cone or something so that she doesn't feel how she feels. And so she has no idea how to, when things get rough and things get rocky in her relationship, in her business, which life will, and business and relationships will always get rocky and weird, right? She had no idea how to weather that without wanting to bail and escape, because that's all her parents did. They bailed, they escaped. They didn't sit there with her and like just help her breathe through the discomfort. She has no idea how to do it. Or she's not very good at it. She knows she should be doing it, but doesn't know how to stay. And so what does she do? She distracts herself with quote unquote ice cream cones, like little crushes, or, oh, maybe I should just quit this and go back to school and do this thing. And so I was like, sure, you can move to another continent. You can go cheat on your boyfriend. You can go start a new business. You want to know what? This pattern will be right there waiting for you with the next guy and the next business and the next place that you go. So why don't we actually learn to sit through discomfort and tolerate difficult things so that you can stay and mine the quality of the experience you're having with your boyfriend, who's a great guy, and with your business, which is a perfect match for you. Yes. So this is what I mean when I say you have to do the inner work, which is not news to you. Like, you've been hearing us say it, but I hope this is a new facet of understanding of, like, you cannot think that the solution is ever going to be something on the outside when there are so many things on the inside that are ripe for transforming and changing and getting clear on, and that are very clearly blocking you from being able to maybe sustain something healthy, or from even knowing what you want in the first place, or having the confidence to go after it. None of that is something a job is going to give you.
No,
That's
because
something you have to figure out and then bring to a job.
The pattern started on the inside. The outside is just the end result of the internal pattern that's going on and on and on and on, and will continue to go on and on until you check in with yourself inward and decide, okay, where did this pattern come from? How do I break it? How do I create a healthier, more intentional pattern that is going to serve me a lot better moving forward? And that just takes some self-awareness.
Yeah.
It takes some strength. It takes some inner clarity. And sometimes it takes a little bit of help, frankly.
Yeah. So I think that what happens when you find yourself in a job that isn't as exciting as you thought it was going to be, then, yeah, the answer is use it to pay your paychecks while you have at least the financial stability, I would hope, to start doing the deeper work. This is when the deeper work begins. This is when you kind of like give up the idea that something on the outside is going to come in and save you, and that it's time for you to save yourself.
I have to now bring this full circle to where we started at the beginning of this podcast, where we were talking about the fact that our passion profile short course.
This episode.
Yes, this episode.
People talk to me about that all the time now. They apologize when they say it to me because they know that I
Everyone
hate it.
says it, you're the one who's particular about
I don't need coaching around this. It's fine.
Well, this is bringing me back to the beginning where we talked about the Passion Profile short course. And the reason I want to bring that back around right now is because in that course, first of all, that is like the best first step toward getting clear on what you want.
Though I think someone like Joanne needs more than a first step. But I'm just saying, if you haven't taken any steps, that's a good place to start. But it's certainly not going to be the end point for a lot of people. Just putting that out there.
Sure. But the reason I'm thinking about this right now is because a part of what we walk you through in that course is, if you're going to be at this job for at least a little while, then how do we make this more aligned to the best of our ability based on, I mean, it may not be ever
sometimes
perfect.
You can make it, though, 20% better, which at least makes you tolerate it more while you're doing the deeper work to figure out what's next.
Exactly. And so we have a whole phase of the Passion Profile short course where we walk you through, how do I make this job more aligned with what matters the most to me so that it's significantly better along the way. And sometimes that alone can change the whole job into something that you actually love. But even if it doesn't, because it does not always, that's for sure, then it can make it a little bit better while you're then also applying that same concept to, what do I want next? How can I be really clear and intentional with the next step? Because I'm tired of this pattern and I don't want to do this again. And that is what we start to walk you through in the Passion Profile short course. So it's good timing that this is coming out right before we're doing a little promotion on that, because 2020 would be a great time for you to break this pattern. And this is a great place to start.
This course is very much for the person who has continually tried thing after thing after thing and is frustrated with the fact that none of it is really working and isn't clear about why. We get into, we deeply get into the 4 passion profiles and explain why, if you've been doing a series of moves or jobs or whatever that are not in alignment with your profile, it explains almost everything about why it's a mismatch to you. And we help you narrow down your options so that you can at least start to plan a direction that's a better fit for you. It doesn't mean that you're going to 100% know yet what specifically you want to do. That's more of a thing we get into in the PBVE, which, reminder, we'll be doing one last time in 2020. We'll be back later with more info about that. We'll talk more about that in January. And coaching, obviously. But this is a really excellent first step. And it is sort of like a shortcut to when you have 100% options and you don't know what to do, cross off 75 off the list. That's what this course will help you do.
Yep. We also have a whole bonus in there about how different passion profiles might get along or not get along, and how to communicate better and how to improve your relationships with people who might have different passion profiles than you, which is kind of making me think of Victoria.
Could be. Yeah, she could be having passion profile and compatibility problems with her husband.
Because essentially it boils down to value differences.
Especially around things like time and money, which are big when it comes in Victoria's experience, for sure. So, okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But I hope that I just felt like I ranted a couple good times, but I feel healthier now.
You feel like you got it out of your system?
Well, yeah. And also I like when I'm in a rant. I feel like when I get in a rant, sometimes I get into a state of flow like rappers get into when they're freestyling.
I mean, I don't think you sounded quite like a rapper, but in your own way,
Thank you for negging me and for being like, you actually aren't as smooth or as like interesting or as mic drop worthy as you think you are.
No. It was more like a coach flow than a rapper flow is all I'm saying.
I'm not saying I sounded like good. I'm not saying you should like, Jay-Z should come produce my next album
you could do it in like beat poetry style next time.
I could. Don't tempt me. I could write good beat poetry.
I think you could.
I've never even really tried, but I guarantee you I could do it decently. To the point where if I could do it in a high school talent show and no one would throw rotten apples at me. Okay. So we'll be back on Tuesday with a new blog. It might not be a new blog, but it's going to be from you.
Okay.
It'll be from you. Or it might not be a blog. I don't know. We're recording this early before Thanksgiving because we're about to, not be around. So who knows what we'll be doing by then. But it doesn't matter because the 10th is when our short course promotion starts.
Yeah.
So come back on then. You should also, if you're on our email list, which you should be, because if you've taken the passion profile quiz and opted in, then you'll be getting our emails. We'll also be announcing it there. So we'll be doing that for a week.
Yep. You've got the 10th through the 17th. The last day of that is my birthday. So if you guys want to hang out with me on my birthday.
If you want to give Kristen a birthday present,
you want to give me a birthday present,
buy the short course.
Happy birthday to me.
Great. And me. That's what's beautiful is I get half of that money. Like a true spouse.
Happy birthday to Krachel.
Okay, we'll see you on Tuesday.
See you then.